Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Let's start with a story in which people collectively removed an annoying cop from their street. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Officer said she didn't come to a complete stop. The whole neighborhood said, "We'll be your Huckleberry." The timing. This story happened about 10 to 12 years ago. The location. There's a neighborhood behind my parents' house that everyone would cut through to get to the freeway sooner. At the exit of said neighborhood was a three-way intersection, all with stop signs. Almost everyone treated two of the signs as suggestions, and the third direction didn't go anywhere. Enter motorcycle cop. Now, most of the police in our area are laid back and easygoing, and at the time would rather give you a warning than deal with the paperwork involved in giving a citation, with the obvious exception of when they had to deal with the occasional butt hook. The motorcycle cops, and this one in particular, have a bit of a chip on their shoulders, and their policy is that if they pull you over, you get a ticket. Enter my sister. My sister's one of those people who seems to be a magnet for police, despite the fact that she annoyingly follows the rules. She was on the phone with my dad when she approached the above intersection, stopped, and proceeded when clear. Textbook, or so any rational person would think. The confrontation. On this day, however, she encountered Officer Dick. Name changed because I don't remember his real name. Officer Dick liked to hide in the bushes so he could nab everyone that rolled through these stop signs, and at this time he decided to pull my sister over for the obvious reason. Only there was one tiny problem. She actually did stop at the stop sign. As Officer Dick was walking up to her window, she put my dad on speaker so he could hear the whole thing. The following dialogue is a close approximation of what happened, leaving out the irrelevant details. Officer Dick: "Good afternoon. Do you know why I pulled you over today?" My sister: No, not the slightest. "I pulled you over because you didn't stop at the stop sign." "Yes, I did. I always stop. Besides, you've been hiding here for the last 2 weeks. I'm not dumb enough to run a stop sign right in front of you." "Yes, well, you didn't stop long enough." "Pardon? Did you just say that I did stop, but not long enough?" "Yes, I did." "So, how long is enough then?" 5 seconds, ma'am." Our neighborhood is pretty close-knit, so it didn't take long for the 5-second rule to go around. We were all getting tired of OD screwing with everyone, so we decided to comply. Excessively. Nearly everyone with a car made it a point to leave or enter the neighborhood through that intersection. Everyone would roll down their window as they approached, stick out their hand, make eye contact with OD, and would slowly count to 5 before proceeding. It was really very amusing. For us. After a week of this, we noticed OD's no longer hiding in the bushes. In fact, we didn't see him anywhere near our neighborhood for the next 2 years. Edit. I left it out of the story mostly because I didn't want to go off on a tangent and not finish the story, but yes, that very sentence led to an almost Judge Judy level traffic court experience. The look of incredulity on the judge's face when OD admitted to saying that was well worth the price of admission. As an added bonus, most of the people in court that day were there because of OD and that intersection, and because of his admission, the judge dismissed all the failure to stop tickets with his name on it. And our next story. I can play the waiting game too. So I just bought my first brand spanking new car, and it's beautiful. I can't wait to drive it. Sure, I signed my life away on a loan, but hey, carpe diem, right? Anyway, for a number of reasons, I'm not able to pick it up right away. Plus, the dealership isn't too close, but the dealer, given name Douchey, says he'll deliver because he needs the car out ASAP for what I assume to be more inventory. Works for me. Works for me. However, this sales guy doesn't seem to catch on that I work a full-time position and can't just up and leave my job in the city to commute the hour back home to meet him there during a weekday. But I want my car, so I'll make it happen. I tell him I'll take half a day. He says, "Great, paperwork should take an hour tops. I can meet you at noon." Okay. What half of the day is that? Take the morning off and get back at 2 p.m., afternoon off and leave at 11 a.m.? I don't know about you, but that won't fly well at my job. Plus, I've got things I actually have to get done at work. That's why they pay me, I suppose. He says he can't do it any other time. He's got deliveries. He goes on to say how he's doing me a favor by coming in early for this, like he's Mother freaking Teresa. Keep in mind I have his business card with his hours on the back. According to my calculations, that was a lie. Whatever, let's just do this. I wake up earlier than ever on the day so I can get that work done and actually put half a day in, 4:30 a.m. to be exact, out at 11 a.m. As I'm hopping off the train, I notice a new voicemail. Hi, it's Douchey. Listen, I need your credit info before I leave the dealership so I can process your COD fee. As soon as I get that, I'll head over. What? Freaking what? I call him back and go off on him. This was something he told me when we confirmed that he could do in person. This F-tard was a total liar. If I can phone in the info to you, why couldn't I have phoned it in to an associate of yours and do the same? Why is it critical that you be on the other end of the line and wait until the time we were supposed to meet face-to-face to call me and let me know? Anyway, I'm going off on the jerk, and he gives me only a half-butted apology saying, the sooner you give me the info, I can get out of here. A-hat. I give him the info, and an hour later, he's here. I'm doing my best to calm down and just get this done with, but the fact that he brushed it off so easily just sets off my internal rage system. Anyway, hour plus later, he gets my trade-in and the documents he requested, and I get all my stuff. He leaves, I gaze at my beautiful new car, return to a state of peace, then hop in and go because I made plans for 3:30 p.m. It's 2:45, just in time. I'm about 10 minutes into my trip when I see 2 missed calls. Guess who? Yup, Douchey McEfferson. Hey, I forgot to grab the title from you. Can I go pick it up? I'd left the title on the table right next to him. He knew I had plans immediately after. I drive the 10 minutes back, wait another 10 minutes for him to get there. Now my afternoon is ruined too. Douchey McF ruined my entire freaking day. The revenge? Well, a couple days later, I get a call. Hi, Sonny. You listen, we need another document from your bank for the trade-in you gave us. The one you gave me turned out to be not what we needed. Can you get this to us? Haha. Oh, douchey, douchey, douchey. I return his call. Sure, I'll get that to you. I'm sure it's just a quick call away. 3 days and a few missed calls and emails from douchey later, I just absolutely could not find the time to call the bank and get that document. Sorry if your boss chews your head off. Not. And our last story. Try this on for size. I was living in a small ski town last winter. I guess I was a little stressed, maybe so I was having trouble sleeping a little at nights. But it wasn't too bad. However, when the ski season started, it turned out the house next door to mine was a 12 to 14-something room house, full of young workers from the ski field, so the party flat. So this particular ski field closed down quite frequently due to weather, but this meant that any time that would happen, there would be a large gathering at their house. Sometimes it had happened 2 to 3 nights in a row. It definitely averaged about 2 times a week, any night of the week. I had the room on the corner of the house, closest to them. Just over the fence was where they had their brazier and would have their fires, and I believe the speakers were facing outwards from the house, basically pointing directly to the room where I'd be sleeping, about 40 feet or so. Now, I don't know what was up with these kids, but they seemed to only like trash music. Sometimes there would be something kind of funky or cool early on, but by around 9-10, you'd be lucky if a song got played through to the end. Extra lucky if it was just a crappy 90s remix of Absolute Cheese. Think Venga Boys remixes? This would go on until at least 1 a.m., more like 3 a.m. normally. If, God forbid, there was a break in the music, it'd be filled with typical drunken, pointless banter and yelling, and of course the music would get progressively louder over the course of the night. They had crappy quality speakers as well, and being drunk, they wouldn't really notice any distortion, which made it even worse for me. So needless to say, after repeatedly being woken in the middle of the night on random weeknights, I started to get a little bit tired of this. I called noise control once, twice. They came and the parties got disbanded, but then the next time the ski field was closed the following day, they were all back. It happened at least 10 times by the time I was PO'd enough and motivated to get my own back on them. So I bought a whole heap of speakers from a dump shop / thrift store, wired them all up to my amplifier, which I stored in the shed out of the weather, mounted all the speakers behind the bushes on the border of our properties, facing directly where they would be hanging out, and connected it through to the amplifier. I covered the speakers with some roofing iron that was left over. Now the fun part. I bought a decibel reader, found out what the local limit was, and wired a switch up to a Raspberry Pi to start outputting music from a random playlist at the maximum volume. This would only activate after 10 p.m. when the laws around sound limits came into effect. The music would pause every 30 seconds and then check for a new reading from the decibel reader. If the noise was still above the limit, then it would resume play. I tested it once during the day while they were all out, tuned it, got it set up to the max volume possible, and it worked fine. So I left it all set up and went back to my life. Around 6 to 7 days later, they were having a party. It was pretty mellow by their standards. I ended up falling asleep until, boom, around 11 p.m., I get the fright of my life because my stereo rig has cranked up with the first song on the playlist. I waited for the pause at least 30 seconds and could hear some confused yelling over the other side of the fence. Then my playlist resumed because their music wasn't turned down. 30 seconds later, paused again, and they had turned their music off. I hear something coming closer to the fence and then yelling. What the F? It caused it to start playing again instantly. I can only hope that the brave young fellow that crapped himself when he got closer and got blasted with aggressive psytrance. They played cat and mouse with it for a bit that night until they somehow figured out it was being triggered by the volume of their party. So I guess after being subjected to a combination of the aforementioned aggressive psytrance, the My Little Ponies theme tune, some classical music, and a reading from the Bible, eventually they got their crap together and quieted down. The next time it happened was the last, and they moved their parties down the road to another big flat. I left the system set up for the rest of the season. Did catch someone snooping over the fence one morning, looking around the bushes and seeing the big speaker stack, but they didn't pursue it at all. I think they were worried because they'd been called upon by noise control twice already and they just gave up. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.